Hey, Randy Mason here with more from What's Your KCQ? This time it's about a movie, Mr. and Mrs. Bridge, all because John Haug noticed something in it he hadn't expected.
I didn't see the movie right away. I think I caught it on a DVD. In the courtroom scene, right at first, I saw this oil portrait in the back of the courtroom, and it was my grandfather.
Yep, that's Kansas City Court of Appeals Judge Hopkins B. Shane, prompting John to wonder what other local connections KCQ might uncover on this, the 30th anniversary of Mr. and Mrs. Bridge, starring Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. The movie was adapted from a pair of novels by Kansas City and Evan S. Cannell, and filmed for the most part right here in late 1989 by Merchant Ivory Productions, makers of such art house hits as A Room with a View, Remains of the Day, and Howard's End. So let's start with some locations, like the house at 1025 West 54th Street, just west of Luce Park. It's still there and looks very much the same as it did when the Cinematic Bridge family, including Kira Sedgwick as one of the daughters, occupied it.
You do care for yourself, and you do care for your office.
But one room they didn't occupy was the kitchen. Scenes like this one were filmed a few blocks away in this iconic home on Ward Parkway, owned at the time by Wade Williams. The movie actually starts downtown at the venerable Savoy Grill. It's now part of the 21C Museum Hotel, and the Truman booth, where lawyer Bridge ate his lunch, is still in use. A few blocks to the east, Walter and India Bridge shared an emotional moment in the vault at the old First National Bank building.
Walter, would you tell me something?
These days, it does duty as a screening room, the so-called film vault for the central branch of the Kansas City Public Library. Drexel Hall on Linwood and Main has also undergone some changes. Now home to the Kansas City Irish Center, it was utilized 31 years ago for a Boy Scout ceremony that the Bridges' son, played by Robert Sean Leonard, took part in. Trivia note, somewhere in this crowd of scouts is a youngster named Jason Sudeikis. Getting billed above a big-time comedian still makes veteran TV journalist Kathy QUINN-BYRNE chuckle. After auditioning on A Dare, she snagged the part of Paquita, Douglas Bridges' girlfriend from the wrong side of the tracks. One of their scenes together took place in this parking garage on the plaza.
My character, Paquita, wore a lot of bracelets. And so Joanne Woodward told me, because it was Joanne Woodward's idea for the film, she goes, I want you to wrestle your bracelets. I want to hear more noise from your bracelets. So the three of us are there, the mother catches us, and I start doing my bracelets. And the next minute, James Ivory goes nuts. Stop, 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 stop. My face was so red, I turned around like this.
It didn't help that lots of spectators had gathered to watch the action. But Kathy had already learned that movie making is a group activity while filming the makeout scene with Leonard in a car parked at Liberty Memorial. Nothing graphic, but when she attended the big premiere at the Midland, Kathy knew exactly when to send her husband for popcorn.
Though we have mostly contemporary art, the fact is they did find several things that were used in the movie.
David Groteman's design crew did find lots of options at Topper's home in Prairie Village. A couple ended up in Mr. Bridges' office. This Tiffany lamp and an etching that you can kind of see back there. This Raphael Sawyer portrait got the most screen time, though, peering ominously over Blythe Danner's shoulder.
I guess I'm the wrong kind of a wife for a banker.
Topper did suit up as an extra for a party scene at the Bixby House on State Line. His dancing ended up on the cutting room floor, but he did come away with a great story about getting made up in the chair next to Paul Newman.
And he was just with us for a long time. And so I thought, well, I ought to start taking pictures, but I didn't want to be obvious about it. So I had a little camera that I could almost palm in my hand. And at some point fairly early on in what I thought was a completely successful surreptitious endeavor, he went to one of the, they call them assistant directors, but they're really sort of disciplinarians, and told him, and he was nice about it, but he told him, go over and tell that guy to quit taking pictures.
Another of the most ambitious location shoots took place at Longview Farm. Standing in as a country club where the Bridges continued to eat their dinner even as a tornado approached. Jeff Owens was in charge of special effects and admits now that he'd never really made a twister before.
That was kind of freaky, to be manning these rain towers and rain equipment that we actually built. We didn't even have any of those things. They thought that we did.
Recreating the seasons, reimagining the old Aztec room, even burning a car kept Jeff and his crew of builders busy. But there were lighter moments, too, and he remembers them fondly, like a softball game in Gillum Park with Paul Newman right in the middle of everything.
I'd go into the Prospect, and there would be Ismail and, the Newmans, just sitting there eating and, come on, Jerry. So they were everybody was very relaxed and very friendly.
Even after the filming was done, Jerry stayed in touch with Merchant. He says the producer's legendary ability to get every dollar on screen got a good workout on Mr. and Mrs. Bridge.
I mean, he really was a master at getting people to do things. He was. He could turn on the charm.
So those are just a few of the Kansas City connections we found. Not surprising when you actually make a movie where it's supposed to be located. I'm talking to you, Fargo. For the Kansas City Public Library and the Kansas City Star, I'm Randy Mason asking, what's your KCQ?